Welcome to my lovely side of my room. So, you guys seem to like this area of my bedroom. So, that's where we're doing the live streams for now. Honestly, I don't really care. But I know I said earlier I didn't want to read Nameless Evil because it reminded me of it. But who's to say the story is not different? And if it ends up being similar to it, which it just still be picked English. So yeah, these are the same people that did Dark Forest. Nameless Evil. Just do this. So yeah. Okay. Fear, a deep and profound feeling caused by the perception of a threat, real or supposed threat, present, future, or even the past, able to take any form. The fear is real when your dimension is in correspondence with the dimension of the threat, and it is used to manipulate, and enjoys it, and it is waiting for you. That's so weird. It's always there, waiting and watching. And this is something that the small Michael, an 11-year-old African American boy, lived in the flesh. That's what it says word for word. Please do not be offended. I cannot change what the writers wrote. Okay. To his misfortune, he didn't get to live to tell the tale. Oh my gosh. Death of a child. In the first beginning of the story, this is going to go well. One evening, little Michael found a loaf of bread in the kitchen and decided to take it behind his mother's back. Michael knew very well that that was forbidden because his father had lost his job after the Great Depression, and it seemed almost impossible for him to find another. Living day by day in a precarious situation, barely enough food to feed them as it was, and with the small jobs that his father could find during the morning, that day his mother was surprised him, hidden behind the kitchen table. Was surprised. That day his mother surprised him, hidden behind the kitchen table, eating the last piece of bread. It was the last piece she had saved for rationing during dinner. His mother was very enraged. So she took it from him, took him by the hand, and went to the attic. For what he did. She threw him in the attic. I get it. I get not wanting your kid to not listen. Locking them in the attic. That seems a little harsh. Also, I don't have an attic. We have a crawl space. You can't really throw people up there. So, yeah, I mean, you could. They could very well get stuck. So, that's still harsh. He's 11. A child. Nonetheless. Okay, so Michael was afraid of going up there. It was a cold place. It was dark, and he thought it was inhabited by monsters. These green monsters of long arms with sharp claws and teeth. But the green monsters that Michael imagined living in the attic a few times would be fairy tales compared to what he was about to face. I hope you had enough time to think about how selfish you were and what you caused, his mother said, closing the attic door after her. She left Michael all by himself, who immediately ran towards the corner of the attic, sat down, hugging his knees, without even thinking about opening his eyes. Oh. His thoughts were if they saw him, they would see him back. So he hugged his knees and rested his head on them. Everything was silent and was in silence and darkness. After a few minutes, he began to perceive a smell coming from the other side of the attic. It smelled like rotted things. humid and meadow. It was a strong odor that seemed to penetrate deep into the wood. The smell started to intensify with every second. Michael felt fear. He began breathing agitatedly and hugged his knees harder until the smell changed. Michael couldn't believe it. It smelled like lemon, soda, and Twinkies. Do Twinkies really have a scent though? Vanilla maybe. Or chocolate. But it's after the Great Depression. That's the 30s.
Hi, Lou.
This story's too scary for you.
What's her name?
Her name is Belle.
Belle?
Okay.
Her name is...
Twinkies were around in the 30s.
I found that.
Uh-uh.
It's Belle.
Belle. This story is too scary for
Who
you.
have a basket? It have a book.
Okay, wait. Let me see. I can show them. There's a book in the basket. Can you see it? Okay.
Hello, please.
Okay. This story is too scary for you. Okay? I can't read it with you in here. That's what I'm saying.
Please, let me take a book. Oh, not mine. Sorry, Belle.
Yeah, this is rated 17 plus.
Ah,
And you're 4.
flowers. I found it
You
flowers.
can take it with you.
I found a heart.
You can take the heart with you.
Here.
It's a cookie cutter. Hello. We're reading a scary story. I'm just waiting for her to leave. Thank you. Yeah, it's rated 17 plus. Bitch, away. You leave. I don't care. Be right back. I gotta close my door. Alright. Okay. But more than this, it was his curiosity. Michael opened his eyes, doubtful, but it was dark. He began to see with more clarity. His eyes began to open and had already adapted to the darkness, and a few small rays of light peeked through the wooden planks misplaced in the wall. He could see a pile of boxes and some old furniture. There was no trace of green monsters that were planning to take Michael to space. He calmed down a bit, but that didn't last long, because behind the rays of light that dimly lit the box was a pair of bright yellow glowing eyes that were glowing in the dark, almost hypnotic. Eyes that were watching the boy. The monsters, he thought. Michael sank his head into his knees and began to cry, trying not to make a noise. Hi, Michael, said a soft voice from behind the box. I've been trapped here for days, but there's so much food here. I'm going to have a stomachache if I try to eat it all without sharing with someone. Are you hungry? Michael was afraid, and he gazed up on it. And the soft voice made him trust him a bit. Yeah. Here, I have some delicious things with no one to share them with. I have Twinkies, sodas, cakes, and other things. Lemon cakes, he asked. The best lemon cakes you've ever had.
What is this? What is this?
Why don't you go sit with Meme?
I did sit with Meme.
Why not?
I think so.
Why not? Don't do. No. No. I hate that sound. Stop that. I'm removing you. Remove yourself from the premises. Remove. Okay, I love you.
What is this?
No, not with the scary story. She's fine. She'll live. She gets scared easily. Her and Nessa.
I told you I wanted this.
And I told you no.
I told you yes.
Doesn't matter what you told me. The story was scary and I'm not having it.
It's a way. It's a big way.
Safi.
You know what?
Oh! You stepped on my cup. Bye-bye.
What? I want a hug.
Okay, one hug. I love you. Downstairs. Go watch Team Umizoomi.
I want to hug.
Okay, second hug. I gotta go back and finish reading the story. Bye-bye.
I want to read this storybook.
Okay, go get your books from downstairs. Go have Pan read them with you. Oh my word. It takes a lot to convince a child to leave. It's fine. She'll probably be back with her books. So Michael came close enough to be able to see. It had a happy expression on his face. I don't take back what I said.
This one.
Can you have Kansas read it to you, honey? Well, I can't. I'm reading this story.
You read it to me for free.
I can't. I can after.
Please.
I have to read this first.
Please,
I have to read this first. You want to listen to this story? You want to listen to my story? It doesn't have any pictures. But you want to listen to mine?
Let's have
Okay.
pictures.
Close the door. You can look at these pictures, but I'm going to read these words, okay? She's probably not going to understand it, but here she does. She does. Look at the pictures. Look. It's Bambi.
Deer have a hook.
Okay, an owl. So, close enough
What's
to
your
see
name?
him.
Whoopi, what's your name?
I don't. Flower.
What's your name?
They're squirrels. Squirrels, deer, birds, more deer, fox, raccoon, owl, chipmunk, bird, more birds.
Nah, what's your name?
That's a skunk, but her name is Flower, and there's Bambi. Okay.
Whoopi,
Safi,
what's her
Thumper.
name?
honey, you're going to have Kansas or Meme read it to you.
But you
No.
need to read it to
I
me.
can't. I'm in the middle of this. See? They're listening to me read my story. I read
No, the names.
Thumper.
A Thumper, not butterflies.
Thumper does love butterflies.
Thumper, not butterflies.
Can I finish my story?
But please.
Can I finish my story?
Please.
Can I finish my story first?
Please.
No.
Please. You have to see?
Yeah, but look.
You have
Look.
to-
Look. See this? I'm going to read all that.
No.
What do you mean no?
Yes. No. What? No.
It had a happy expression on his face, almost playful,
What?
covered in white paint, red smeared lips, and yellow eyes that had left him perplexed,
What's next?
which were now brown.
What?
It had strands of red hair coming out of its bald head.
Whoopi.
I need you to stop.
What's the note name?
None of these guys have names.
That's Mommy Rabbit? No, not Mommy Rabbit. Not Mommy Rabbit.
Seffi, listen. You
Yep.
need to have May or Kansas read the story to you so I can finish this one. Please.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh.
And I'll read more books with you when I'm done. Okay? I think she understands.
May, what are we doing?
Yeah, May loves reading with you. Door. First step. Step. All right. Smeared lips. Yes. He had red hair coming from his bald head. He was a clown. Literally how it says it. What would a clown be doing in the attic? The boy asked himself. Anyone getting it vibes? The boy asked himself for a moment, but the sound coming from his own stomach distracted him. He was hungry, and it strongered his curiosity. It sounds like you have a whole circus in there, Mike. Perhaps you can quiet down the show with some cake. What do you say? The clown took the beautiful lemon tart. I thought it was a lemon cake. Tart, cake, whatever. I don't even care, it's lemon. And extended his arm, holding the tart towards him. It was unusually long for an arm, but Michael paid no attention. You should have. Come on, try it, said the clown, who now had started to salivate while looking at the boy. Oh, he's going to eat him. I'm going to call it right here, right now. He's going to eat the boy. And if so, someone took a strong liking to Stephen King. Okay? Come on, take a piece. Michael came up a little more. He was mesmerized by the scent of the lemon tart. It was lemon cakes before, and placed his finger on the tart to taste some meringue. It was so fluffy and it was so good. His hand was on his way to his mouth to take up the first bite when he noticed the reality in front of him. The clown's eyes shifted color and were now bright yellow again. Oh, this is so detailed. Saliva dripped out of his mouth and was filled with rows and rows of sharp teeth. Go on, Michael. You don't want to spoil it, do you? The terrified boy noted again that the cake was now filled with cockroaches and rotted vegetables. Michael began to scream and shout in panic, and the terror was in front of him and in this same dimension. The terrible monster took him by the head with his long arms and pulled him towards him as he savored the little boy with dark skin. Oh. Because just said he took Michael. The child cried out in despair until the thing sank each row of teeth into his face, and the stream of blood jumped off the face of little Michael. It made a hollow sound. When it was sprayed into the boxes next to him, the screams of panic were now of pain. It bit and tore different parts of the boy's body. And looked up at the ceiling with a sense of pleasure as he chewed the soft flesh of the child. Nasty. I didn't like the scenes in the movie for the remake where people were getting bitten and their arms were coming off and all the blood. I don't like blood. Okay? And I don't like reading about blood. The boxes were already soaked in blood, bright red blood. You don't need blood in there twice. We know. Once is enough. Now you're with all of us, Michael. Have fun floating. Have fun floating here. We all float. The dead always float. You'll float too. Okay. Ugh. No! Gross. Okay. One, if I don't get to make a decision shortly, I'm gonna get irritated. If this is long, this better not be novel length because I'm gonna get mad. Okay. Let's talk about this for a second. Honestly, I feel like it's just it. But here's the thing. If you've never watched the movies or read the book, you wouldn't really know it was taken from something else. It seems like, yes, they could have very well written this. But they took a big portion, but a strong liking to Stephen King, who wrote the book, took a lot of that from that. I don't think there's cakes in the book. Oh my gosh. I've read bits and pieces of the book. I watched a bunch of people do videos on the book and be like, this detail's in there, that's not in the movie. But, like, minus in the movies, it's a boy named Georgie. Georgie gets his arm bitten off, not his face. And he's outside, floats a boat in the remake. And I think it happens in the original too. I haven't watched the original in a long time. Okay, it doesn't matter. A lot of it seems like it was taken from Stephen King, but the part about the mom and the Great Depression, that part, it's not in the stories. The stories in the 80s. when it takes place. And it was written in the 80s, right? I don't know. Oh my word. The original movie came out in the 90s, I think. You're not what I want. That's not what I asked for. I'm looking something up. I'm sorry. Oh, apparently, I don't know how to write Stephen King. It's fine. Or something you just pop up the answer. I don't know. Load, please. Load. I don't want to sit here. Mm-mm. I'm going 80s. I wanted to know when the book came out. That's all. Um, Not the point. So let's just keep going. The nightmares, which had just begun, wouldn't end for the next 30 years. Had awakened Linda Davis 13 years. Her bed drenched in sweat. I'm confused. That doesn't seem like. Okay, wait. The nightmares, which had just begun but wouldn't end for the next 30 years, had awakened. Okay. It is a proper sentence. I just read it wrong. That seems like too many apostrophes. Or commas. Not apostrophes. Apostrophes are out. Comma. Seems like too many commas. Had awakened Linda Davis 13 years. Her bed was drenched in sweat. It was a warm summer morning. The wind was weak. She could hear the leaves of the trees swaying outside her window. She lived in a modest house, but not big, but comfortable enough to accommodate her family. This would be an ideal day to go down to the lake. Ideal to be able to alleviate this unbearable heat and feel the fresh water wetting my body. That seems like a weird sentence. Just me? Okay. I bet I could imagine I could pretend to be blind and walk with my eyes closed until there. Um this section's supposed to take place in 1956. The other was part of the Great Depression. So now we're in 1956. We don't get an exact date on the other one. So, okay. So I assume it's been 30 years and this girl is something. She's older. Or is she 13? Like, this is what I don't know because it in the movie goes for children. And then towards the adults when they get older and try to stop them again. But she might be 13. I'm still not sure. So, Oh my gosh. I'm looking something up. 1929. The Great Depression started in 1929, 1930s. Stopped 1933. That's all I needed to know because it could be very well. If they're talking 30 years between 1920 and 1956, that's not 30 years. Yeah, it's 27. Funny. In the book movie, which comes from the book, which comes from the original movie episodes, 27 years. It's 27 years between when one child's taken, or the full moon on a 27, whatever. Doesn't even matter. It's been a little bit since I watched the movies. And then the next 27 years, something really bad happens, and then 27 years later until it stops. That's funny. I just noticed that, and I needed to know. So, yeah. So it's either 27 years or less, because they don't tell you. They said it was the Great Depression, so I assume the start. But that wouldn't explain the attic being cold unless it was a cold day in 1929. I don't need to bring logic into this, but I want to, for the fact that all the details are there and it suggests that it's very detailed. Minus the fact with the lemon cakes and lemon tarts. I'm going to complain about that for the fact tarts aren't brought up until he's like, eat the tart. Anyone else catch that, or just me? And this is just me. Do kids or teenagers actually pretend to be blind by closing their eyes? Because I know my sister Elizabeth, when we do our blindfold challenges, she likes to be blindfolded. It's just fun for her because she likes to guess things. But I don't really know very many people that would pretend to be blind. So do kids actually do that? I know Steffi does when she tries to get my attention, but that's 4-year-old. But like, if this child's 13, as it suggests, do most 13-year-olds like to pretend to be blind? Because I didn't. Kansas doesn't like the thought of being blind. She can't see without her glasses, so she's technically blind without her glasses. May hates it. May hated it when we were 13. We all turned 13 different times, obviously, but that's just a question. Do kids or teenagers do that? We must be a weird set of teenagers then. Close their eyes till they get there, walk and feel the grass on my feet and while getting to the lake and enjoy the freshness of the water. Of course, that would not be a problem for me, Linda thought. A girl who is no more than 1.60 of height. Centimeters? What is that in feet? Sorry, guys. I'm very bad at this. That is 5'2". But 1 point? Oh. Sorry, calculator thing. 1.60 is not even anything. It's 0.524934 feet. What's that in inches? Did you get inches? It's not even an inch. You're small. You're small, honey. I do think it's 160, making her 5'2", I think. Or she's 1 foot and 60 centimeters. Or, that's dumb, that's a couple inches. Or a foot and 6 inches. Who knows? But I'm going to assume you meant 160. See, people were judging them on their grammar in the for when you rating, when you rate and leave a review. It's a review. They were complaining about the grammar, which I totally understand because sometimes it's confusing.
Kobe, also my dog. Yeah.
How can I help you?
That's it.
Your head hurt? Did you just hit your head?
No.
No. Turn it off. Child, please. Thank you. Bye-bye.
But I want to sit.
You want a what?
I want to sit.
Kids?
No, sit.
Kiss?
Yes, sit.
Okay, come here. Lemonade. Mwah.
You want this.
Oh my word, they're cute.
That's
Can you
me.
take her with you? This story is too scary for her.
It's-
Stick her in your hair, I'm sorry.
Hey, that's mine.
Take it.
Uh,
No. Children. The lake was less than a kilometer away from her house, and it. You know those hand things you get from like the Dollar Tree that make that stopping noise? Megan! Stop that! Oh my gosh. Oh, we're back. Why? No! I closed her door. All right, Lake was a kilometer away. It was, of course, the best way to spend her Saturday. But this, of course, if she got permission from her mother, which another occasion would not have been a problem. But her mother liked to listen to the radio while preparing the food and taking care of the house, and was already aware that the frequent disappearances that had been occurring in the hometown. Etna, Bangor, and in the neighboring towns. Stories rumored that kids would venture out alone and ended up missing or mutilated. Nonsense, thought Linda. These are stories carefully made to scare us, to get us to stay locked in our houses. Really. Love it. Love it. Protagonist doesn't believe anything that's told. Made up stories by adults to force us to stay and help do household chores. But it's summer. Summers to help with household. Summers are not to stay at home. Plus, none of that can really happen in a place like this. There's nothing interesting that happens. Simply impossible. I don't know. Did people really think like that in the 50s? I wouldn't know. Lucy Davis, Linda's mother, was a woman of medium height, soft temperament, and always had a smile on her face before any dilemma. I thought that said dementia. I'm not going to lie, but it says dilemma. It was rare that she would discipline her children, unless, of course, when extremely necessary, since she believed that if she acted nicely, her children could learn from it and grow up to be good people. And having a father like James, she felt responsible of being the sweet one. Why do the fathers have to be jerks? Like most stories I read, the dads are jerks or the parents are just plain out awful. You don't always need the parents to be awful to get a storyline across. That's just my opinion. I mean, if it helps further the plot, then fine. But I should probably finish reading this and then ask the question. But what does a parent being mean have to do with you wanting to do something that your mother, you need to ask your mother, if you can go? If so, is it the fact that your father probably won't let you go? I don't know. So, James, who had been returned from the war 11 years ago, was never the same man again. I've heard that a lot. People that go into the war, they don't come back the same. I mean, it's scary. It's a different experience. Of course, you're never the same person when you come back out. Okay. Lucy felt nothing but fear of him since his return. Now, that's sad. He was not the same man who put his family as a priority. The man she fell madly in love with and wanted to spend the rest of her days watching their children grow up. She didn't even recognize him. He returned a violent, disturbed man. The word scarred him for life, and though he had been able to find calm in the alcohol. A drunk father. Okay. You know those stories when you read them, you get this weird feeling in the pit of your stomach. That's kind of what's happening in this story. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go, and it makes you feel very uncomfortable reading it. But it's kind of what they're doing here. And the thought that he had been able to keep calm in the alcohol, he still could describe the taste of the air and the smell of the blood of those who were dying around him. James knew that if there was a hell, it would probably smell like that, or like death. Oh, that's horrid. A scent that penetrated deep into his guts, that neither 100 baths could wash away. A scent that stayed with him for the rest of his days. That's horrible. James could still see all the soldiers he left behind and targets exterminated. This is just sad. This is sad. He lost all sensitivity to the human beings, ceased to call them people. 13 targets shot in the first round on the first day, which every soldier rookie boasted of and bragged. Everyone wanted to be the first to pull the trigger. He counted them every day until he lost count and lost himself in the process. There's some swears in here, so I can't read those. I'll skip over them. This is horrible. This is sad. This part here is sad. It might be just me because I'm a very oversensitive person. It's sad. So, we learn this about James, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth when they hand him food is what's going on. They go, no, those dirty people want to poison us. They have contaminated the water. We're drinking their crap. James screamed and threw the plate in front of him. A plate of potatoes and ham that Lucy had prepared for lunch. What the hell? This tastes like crap. They're poisoning our food right in front of our freaking noses. And you just stand there looking like that without doing anything about it. You can't do anything. You're freaking useless. He was now laughing out loud. Oh my gosh. I don't think he means to be mean. That's the thing. James, it's only ham and potatoes. It doesn't taste anything like what you're saying it does. Stop drinking. Relax. Please, you're going to wake up the children. But Lucy was already awoken, and she had heard everything. Linda? No, like, Lucy's the wife. Linda's the child. Wait, Lucy was already awake. Before that sentence, Lucy's already awake. She's handing James the food, trying to feed him. Of course Lucy's awake. Okay, wait. I'm not very fond of this part of the story. She could hear everything. Joseph, his brother, a tall boy like his father. Who's Joseph? Whose brother? James' brother? Your brother? Because if you meant to write her brother and run away from home at 17, he ran during the night. He couldn't stand the stench of alcohol from their father. Linda came out of her room. She tried to go unnoticed, making her way to the bathroom, but her father called to her. Now, where the hell do you think you're going? I'm reading ahead of myself. Just wait. Okay, nothing bad happens. This part is very detailed. Okay, so what they're trying to get across is he's a huge jerk, which I don't think he means to be, but nonetheless, he's being a jerk. So after he asks her where the hell are you going, he grabs her wrist tightly. Linda's. Wait, is her bedroom right by the kitchen? How would he have grabbed her arm? She was going to the bathroom. I don't even care. To the point, I don't care anymore. His words are, you need to be roughed up to learn some respect. What the hell? Shouldn't do anything. So he went to go smack her, but Lucy wouldn't let him. James, please, Lucy said frighteningly, but a strong tone in her voice in order to not to lose her calm in front of her daughter, because she knew that if she looked scared, Linda would be scared as well. James stood up and almost emptied a bottle of scotch, and he left at the foot of the table and took his drink. And then he asked for Joseph, but there was no response. Freaking damn, I live in this house of freaking enemies, and you all conspire to drive me crazy. He put on his shoes, left the house through the kitchen door. Lucy sighed and then had been holding her breath as to not be agitated. She knew that James had gone out to find another bottle, and that would give her some time to move forward with her chores. Eat something, honey. You look very thin. So, Linda is not eating? You won't fit into those beautiful clothes we fixed up for you. But Linda had no appetite. All she wanted was to get to the lake at all costs, with or without permission of her mother, even though she knew how hard she was getting by these days. This is where we make a decision. We run off to the lake. There's a good chance we run into James. We ask the mom permission. There's a good chance she says no, and James walks back in. But mom could say yes, and James still walk back in. This is horrible. Nothing like. Well, there's the rotten father that Beverly deals with. Nope, this is not a story for you. And I will not read this story with you. Thank you. I got Meme holding on to her. I'm not for reading this with my siblings. Freaking, what do we do? I don't know what to pick. If it was me, I'd ask permission. Just asking permission. Okay, since we chose ask permission, My mother's had enough things to worry about already. I can't be one more. Maybe if I ask nicely, she'll let me go. He says, try another or decide. Decide. I'm asking her. Mom, it's summer. Joseph isn't the same anymore. He doesn't stay in the house. If he does, it's rare. And doesn't want to play with me. I don't have any friends. I was just thinking maybe you could let me go down to the lake for a little while. I really need to get out of here. I'm sorry, Linda, but it doesn't seem safe for you to walk alone out there. No way. Um, the neighbor of a friend of Betty Davis had just lost her son. He had been missing for 3 days. He just disappeared without leaving a trace, and police couldn't cope. The poor woman, what was she must be going through? She couldn't imagine. That doesn't even happen here, and the lake isn't far, and I promise not to take more than a couple hours. And we're in the full light of day. Everyone knows that monsters and perverts only come out at night. Not true. I don't care, story or not. That's not true. At all. People have been hurt in broad daylight, and no one gives a crap. It's not just at night. Especially perverts. Perverts are out every part of the freaking day. This story is actually really irritating me. Okay. So no. Perverts are not just at night. Monsters are people. People are monsters. They're out in daylight. So that's just simply not true. So you're just guilting your mom to let you go. Lucy knew that James would be around to have another episode like the one that had just happened during lunch. And he would start to bother Linda, who already had enough of her father, and she wouldn't tolerate the guilt of seeing her daughter sad and alone in her room. And dealing with the follies of a drunken father, she sighed heavily and agreed, doubtful and scared. You have to promise me you'll be back before night falls. I would die if something happens to you. Don't worry, Mother. I'll be back here on time, I promise. She replied with confidence in her face. So she ran back to her room, put on her swimsuit, short pants, shorts, or like capris. Capris are short pants. A clean top, and took a towel from the bathroom to dry off after swimming. Lucy walked, and just like she imagined upon awakening, barefoot, with her eyes closed, she opened them from time to time to make sure she wouldn't walk into a tree or hit her face. Though she was confident that she could get there without seeing. It wouldn't be cool bumping into a tree face first. She could feel the heat from the air brush her cheeks, and the grass tickled her feet. She walked no more than 10 minutes when she began to feel the lake pebbles at her feet. She finally arrived at the lake. Linda put down her towel and placed it on top of a large rock at the edge of the water. She took a moment to breathe and took the aroma of the lake in. Sat down, looked straight into the water, and looked strangely and deeply, and it was almost black and almost other words. It wasn't the sight that Linda remembered the lake. She didn't give it much importance. Dirty water. Just walk into dirty water, it's fine. She looked straight into the water. Dark. So she begins to just get down to her bathing suit. She sees a man. There was a boy, not a man, in the lake, to no more than 7 meters from where she was standing. He was wearing nothing more than underwear or swim trunks. My sisters are annoying my mom. Linda was not shy, but finding that random boy like that was a surprise for her. She had not imagined sharing fresh water with anyone. The lake was bit far from town, so many people went there. Not many people went there. At least none she had seen before. But this was unexpected, finding that she would have at least tried to talk to the boy or go back home to deal with the problems of their father. She started to get back to her bathing suit, and then at the edge and jumped into the water. She finally couldn't feel anything more than fresh water all over her body. As she came up to the surface, was face to face with the boy. So we can all either get away or talk to him. I don't know what to do for the story. Talk to him. Looks like I won't be the only one here, and I refuse to go back home. I'm trying to look at the picture that's there. And I could use a friend. Decide. Hello, Linda said. Hello, replied Daniel. Oh, we didn't even learn anything. It just tells you. 14-year-old good-looking boy, curly brown hair and green eyes. My sister May has curly brown hair and green eyes. Hazel. So it has that touch of brown in it. They're not bright green, but attracted to the eyes of Linda, but seemed quite shy for her. Why are you in your underwear? She said, almost mocking him. I left my house in a hurry. What's your name? My name is Daniel. How do people generally call you? Dan. Well, I cannot say that it is nice to meet you because I had planned to have the whole lake to myself, but this seemed that won't be happening. You're freaking rude. That's rude. Nice to meet anyone. I wasn't expecting to find anyone here. I know it's not a secret place for the rest of the town, but I thought it could be my spot. That's why I didn't mind swimming with just my underwear. Are you kidding? Has been my place for the longest time, and as long as I can remember. How is it I never seen you before until today? Destiny, perhaps, Daniel said. I don't believe in destiny. That's exactly what she said. Something was lurking in the depths of the lake below. It watched from below, and it could see their feet waddling around and staying afloat. A couple hours went by, and the kids were playing around the water. Linda waved her arm on the water and splashed Daniel's face. Hey, we just met, and this is your way of making friends. They both laughed and kept playing in the water. Linda submerged for a couple seconds to cool off her face, and then something brushed against Daniel's feet. Hey, you think you're funny? Linda came to the surface. What is it? She replied. Something brushed against Linda's feet as well. She and Daniel waited for whatever it was beneath them to come out of the dark waters. They thought it was fish, but they never saw it. So do you have any other plans? No, not really. I have to go back home, though. Things are not going to be going very well there. And Mother will start to worry if I don't get back before dark. Let's go to the fair for a while to distract ourselves. I'm meeting the boys over there. Come on. You'll like them, Tony and John. They're also my age. And they're a pair of fools, but I like them. Come on. Fine, I can't stay that long. I promised my mother I'd be back before nightfall. You just met him. You know nothing about him. He could be going to kill you. Yeah, think of that? No, you didn't. To be honest, they start talking. Oh, well, they both laughed. Are the rumors on the radio true? The only reason that you have to go back to your house, Daniel asked. To be honest, no. My father drinks a lot, and my mother can barely cope with the chores in the house and tolerate my father, so I don't want to be another worry for her. I also have problems at home, Daniel said. My father abandoned us when I turned 2, and my mother is. I don't want to spend time with her. I prefer to go for a walk in the forest and hang around town. And that's how I met John and Tony. They're suckers, but I have a very good time with them. Okay. I don't know if I want to finish this. It's too sad for my liking. That's that story. So you guys, if got my new bed. Bought door, and you're too little for this story. No, legit, you are too little for this story.
Ow.
It's the box's way of telling you to leave so I can finish.
You finish.
Mm-mm. Not with you in here.
You're not gonna listen.
You're a liar.
Mm-hmm.
It says 17 plus, mature.
Okay.
And she's 11.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm not listening.
Liar. You don't have headphones. And you can't watch TikTok in here because cover music.
I'll have this
So-
from it.
Ignore her. So that's all for this story.
I gotta
And
put the dinner aside for now.
you broke the box.
All
Alright, so yeah, that's the story. If there is anyone that's not as sensitive as me, or you can just handle what's going on in that story, go for it. Read it. I'm not for that. I'm not for reading that. It's too sad for me and I don't like it. It's just not a topic I like to read about. Especially, even with creepypastas, I can't read that stuff. It's too sad. I'm just an emotional person, but that's fine. But you guys want to try to read it, it's a nameless evil. So you guys can go ahead and read it. I'm not finishing it. I'll have Meme read through it and she can pick whatever and she'll have to tell me how it ends, or I'll skip through and click random things. So, there's that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!